7th, 2018 will come to order. I do not see any non-employees here, but they're welcome if they...
Press.
Oh,
The press
okay.
is here.
You're welcome to come. Your participation is welcomed, and we'll get on with our business. Go ahead, Mr. Davis.
Good morning and thank you. So the first we'll be recognizing a student at Flint Island High School. He has been selected as Mr. Soccer. So this is the second year in a row for Mr. Davis.
Okay, and I do want to, I had mentioned this to Karen. I got an email the other day about one of our administrators who'd been recognized with something from, I think it was from the University of Florida. I don't even remember what it is. I'd have to go back.
Miss
But
Tucker. Miss Tucker.
I would like to maybe add her under the recognitions.
Yes, ma'am.
But I don't remember the title, so we'll figure it out. But if you'll add a second recognition,
Yes, ma'am.
it sounded important.
It did.
Okay.
And so C1 is our minutes for a board workshop, regular meeting for March 1st. Workshop on the 20th. C2 is appointment of the CCEA and CESPA bargaining teams for 18-19. C3 is consent agenda. Mr. Brodsky, this is where you may pass this stuff out.
Yeah, if you're going to talk about the job descriptions.
You'll see in here a number of things. First is we made the adjustments to media specialist job description and also instructional media specialist, services specialist for the district. We worked with media specialists as well to have the conversations about just incorporating STEAM opportunities where they're working to infuse digital citizenship, continue to look at problem solving, critical thinking activities within the school day, and continue to connect their scope of work with our core teachers within our classrooms.
Just a quick question about
Yes, ma'am.
that. Are we going to find that any media specialists are not eligible based on the new job
No,
description?
ma'am. No, ma'am.
And I know that
We
sounds
would-
like a
yeah.
silly
No, no,
question,
no.
but
No,
the
it's
very
a very
first
good
part
Yep.
of the description
Yep.
went into more of the technical aspects
Right.
of the media specialist. And I know that there's some shared
Right.
responsibilities at schools.
So digital design is in digital platforms are becoming a major part of literacy now. So they're just we just want to make sure that we have up-to-date job descriptions that will not impact their certification or their placement at all in the school district. We've had conversations multiple times with our specialists and in order to talk about refining their role. They're excited, they want to refine their role. And they want to, they don't want to be just looked at in the media. There's so much more that they do.
So everybody who's currently a media specialist does not have to fear
No,
they're going to...
no, ma'am. No,
All
ma'am.
right, thank you.
No. In addition, I'm going to pass out some job descriptions to each of you right now that's related to, first wave is going to be operations. I'm going to pass them to everyone here. There we go. Betsy.
And are we just updating job descriptions? Is that what
Well,
you're
here we're going to ask to move a number. It's not going to cost. It's going to be funded through federal funding along with LCIF funding. We're going to ask for, the first thing is to move the director of maintenance from a 2 to a 1. And we put rationale in with every one of these documents as well. I know that years ago a number of these positions in operations were removed from a 1 to a 2, and I believe they were trying to find proactive ways to save money. But I think we've done a good job internally with our accounts, with our LCI funds and our federal funds to make this work as of now. The roles and responsibilities for these individuals didn't change. The people may have changed, but the work didn't change. Here we're looking at moving the director of maintenance from a director 2 to a director 1. This individual's on 24/7 call all the time within this organization, and this position is this is one of our asks to move it to a director 1. Then we've changed it from support services to operation. The second one is the director of food nutrition services, and moving that from a director 2 to 1. That is self-funded through federal funds as well. It will not impact general at all. The next one would be is the director of facility planning and construction. This is a director 2 to move that to a director 1 as well. This is a position that we have learned that we've used as of right now, to continue to work, and I think this is a position that Mr. O'Connell is in, that we've outsourced to a consultant but we really need to have someone helping us with the day-to-day operation of a plan of facilities construction. And I have to say this openly, this man is a rock star. He is awesome in his job. He's so consistent. He knows. He does a good job telling me I'm wrong, but he does good work for this organization.
Yes, he does.
And always have.
And the last one in this is moving the coordinator 1 of operations to a director 3. This is a individual that is once again on 24/7 call, and it will act as our continue to act in a proactive manner as our safety specialist. He does so much more in the work within this organization. That's for operations. This will, to be open, I think it's the majority of the funding will be through LCIF funded and federal funding. There will be probably around, I think, $16,000 that will probably impact general. But you know, it's not a lot of it's not a lot of money to me when we have the value of having someone 24/7. I
Okay.
know I call these individuals a lot and crazy times of the evening.
Now, you said the first 2 were federal funds, and what about the 3rd and 4th one?
I can give you a breakdown of. I can send you an email of a breakdown of what's federal and what's general.
Right.
And
These
this
will be on this personnel consent agenda.
I'm only bringing for right now, just bringing the job descriptions. I know that
Right.
you didn't like me to bring the job descriptions and the allocation, so if this is approved, then we'll bring the job descriptions for next month. As of right now, when we go to approve the allocations for the district level, they will be as they are, just in case they do not pass at the April board meeting.
So in this personnel consent agenda for April 5th, it will be updated to include not just the media specialist, but these 4.
Correct.
Yes, ma'am. Just for job descriptions, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So the allocations in Dr. Kemp's department will remain the same as they are now. And then if this passes and you agree on job descriptions, then we will transition to ask for the allocation to upgrade it the following month.
And clarification,
Yes, ma'am.
Director 2 to Director 1 is an increase in salary.
Right.
That is correct.
As opposed to Coordinator 1 to Coordinator 3.
Well, 3
Is that
and
Yeah.
1 would be
3 is
included.
higher than 1.
No.
No, it's
Yeah.
3,
backwards.
2, 1.
Yeah, it's back. It's kind of different.
Got
So,
it.
yeah, no, I learned the same.
I had to
One,
learn that one hard.
one pays
So
more.
I
I can
wanted
fix
to
all
make
that.
certain
I can
that
fix all that.
that we are on the same.
One is the
So from
highest
Coordinator 1, which is the highest, to Director 3, which is the lowest in the director area.
paid. It's a
Just
promotion.
making certain. Yes, I understand the promotion side of it,
But I don't
wanted to make
understand
certain
about,
the numbers were.
Yeah,
What I
it's not
don't know-
much at all.
Mr. Davis, what I don't understand, you've got Coordinator 1 to Director 3. Before, we've had directors and supervisors and then coordinators.
Coordinator is, I think it's.
Supervisors were between
let's
director
see.
and
This
coordinator
is
all the years.
You're talking about,
And I wondered why we've skipped
Coordinator support
supervisors
services.
completely.
what we're trying to do is, let me see which one you're talking about. We're trying to.
The 4th one?
We're trying to go director across the board for every one of these individuals so they can take on more responsibilities and direct the work versus put it in a coordinator position.
But to jump from a coordinator,
A director is an upgrade.
bypass 3 levels of 2 or 3
Right.
levels of supervisor and then go to director,
Yes, ma'am.
that's a huge,
It's not sufficient. It's not significant.
I don't think the cost is that much.
Not.
We can provide a
Yeah,
breakdown.
I'd like
I'll
the
send it to you.
cost.
It's not significant at all.
are you doing away with supervisor positions?
Yes, ma'am. That position will go away and just be.
So it's gonna be straight from coordinator to
Yes,
director?
yes,
I
ma'am.
think she means overall,
Overall, are you getting rid
district-wide,
of
are you
supervisor
eliminating
positions?
supervisor
Oh, no,
positions?
ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Just in this certain case. With the new house, with Senate Bill 7026, we got to identify a district specialist for safety, anyways, and then adding on additional responsibilities with coordinated with safety and threats, and that will be under that umbrella as well.
I don't know how you'll be able to not add a position in there with all that goes on with that.
And this, I mean, I know we don't speak about individuals, we speak about allocations. This individual does good work in this arena.
I don't know who we're talking.
Yeah, I don't know.
It might be helpful just for us to see kind of a chart of where we are now and where you want to be, if you're
Right.
saying you're changing these to make them level so that
Yes,
we
ma'am.
can see the framework for.
Okay.
Because I know there's other divisions that,
And Mr.
Are
Brodsky,
overworked.
could you send that salary structure
This
to
is-
us
this
again,
position is
showing
one that
us,
has control
you know,
one.
coordinators,
That one.
the range. I think
I
somebody
think
had sent it a couple
Yeah,
years
one
ago.
is-
Okay.
If you'd send that to all of us, that would help us to see.
It's on the
Yeah.
website, or it was.
Yeah.
Last one I want
It's
to,
easier to open my email though.
last one I'd like to add is through risk management. Doc?
Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. This is a position where, you know, is very, we want to move from a coordinator 3 to a coordinator 2. Once again, I can provide the increase in structure through it via email as well. But this position is major for our district as relates to risk management. It takes on so many different, responsibilities relating to managing and claims and litigation for us to make sure that we are clean in the process. Doc, anything you want to add?
Again, this position has been several years created as a risk management position. However, the position dating back many years ago has morphed into more than just sort of an assistant role. The position has now taken on additional responsibilities that works directly with our principals, with our attorneys, with our clients or our employees that have major situations that occur while on the job. So I believe this position really needs to be at the level that requires her, his or her knowledge and experience to deal with the multiple activities that she's dealing with right now. So I am requesting that we move her from the 3 to the 2. In addition to that, as you all have known, I have tried to equalize my entire division and change the workload that's across business affairs. And this one was one of the positions that was not addressed. So I'm trying to equalize all my positions to Cord 2s.
And the cost of this,
The cost is about $5,000. And it will be absorbed within my budget. I have a payroll coordinator that's retiring, who is at the high level. And then by hiring the person who I put, my budget person in her slot, it was at a reduced rate. So the difference between the current payroll coordinator and the person that's going into the position, there's a change in the dollars. So I'm actually giving back about $80,000 to the budget.
So one thing we want to do is anytime that we bring any alterations to job descriptions or personnel, my division understands it's their job to find within their budget, so we do not add. So I will send an email with explanations about each of these individuals' allocations and about what the funding source will be and the causation, the cost for it linked. So you'll have it in my follow-up.
Before you move on, I'd like to ask you to look at I'm not sure the name of Sheila Gann's position, but I know that she's supervising people from Aon and United Healthcare, and that's like a coordinator position that she has.
What's her
And
job?
She is a coordinator too.
She should probably be a supervisor, because not only is she supervising people, but they're not even our employees. And we're wanting to make changes and eventually have that department go self-insured. She's like a one-woman show over there.
Right.
So I think that
We'll
is
look into
something
it.
that needs to be brought to us as a job description change or an allocation change or something, but that position certainly needs to be a supervisor position because of the responsibility that she has.
I'll look through it and send it back.
Thank you.
All right, C4, proposed supplement allocations. I openly and honestly, this is something in the last 16 months or 17 months, whatever it's been, that I have tried to address, that I've tried to get into the weeds, that I've tried to make recommendations and adjustments with no prevail. So I openly am bringing this package the way it was presented last year. I extend the invitation to each of the board members to, if there's anything you'd like to see differently. I believe that this should be addressed in so many different ways, but I continue to hit roadblocks. So I'm bringing it back as is, and look for direction if you want this document to be changed.
I have a question for you. In light of that, the 17-18 total is $2,794,921, but the 18-19 is 2.8 million. So, but we're projected to go down in numbers of students, that
Right.
what you told us last time. So that's my question as to why it's increased.
Rubbed in a school.
The addition of Doe is the reason for the increase.
Could we do something like, continue the supplements, but maybe just do like a 10% reduction across the board to every supplement?
So I would like to have the conversation, and we initiate that conversation, and it has to go to the bargaining team.
Okay.
So
The amount of the supplement goes to the bargaining team.
that's correct.
The number of supplements per school, however,
That's right.
is up to you.
That's correct.
And in researching this through some of the schools and talking with some folks, I'm finding that there are many schools that have, large groups of teachers in a particular grade level, in a particular department, and then there are others that have 2.
Yep.
And we're treating all of them equally in that respect.
Well,
And in talking with even the teachers, some of the teachers are, and I kept the list that we got, because, and I added to it. Because as a team leader, you're in the curriculum council, you're a counselor to the staff, you're a mentor, you're, much more than just the 25 that the one teacher brought to us. And this particular teacher was from, if I'm not mistaken, Fleming Island Elementary, and very, you're talking a larger school, you're talking, And in the same respect, then you go to a smaller school with fewer teachers and smaller departments, smaller grade levels, and you're still giving a supplement for 2 teachers where the teachers, well, do you want it this year and next year, can we split it? And that to me is not the true aspect of being a team leader. A team of 2 is generally more of a, hey, we're gonna work together on this one. So it's a quandary in saying, but what's fair?
right.
And in looking and talking with other counties, finding that our supplement is extremely generous, number 1.
Absolutely.
Number 2, there are ways of looking at these, and I don't know that we have the time this year because we have to get this into the April meeting. I understand that. But something that we need to look at for the future is how can we, what's the word I'm looking for? Level
Right.
the supplements so that we have a more fair approach
Right.
at looking at
So department heads is varied, from team members from 3 to 5, I think 6 to 10, and then 10 plus. And I think it within this document. At the same time, it also varies the amount that's given for supplement based on the how big your department may be. I don't disagree. I have time. Yeah, I'm seeking direction of what you'd like me to do to
How
adjust
about
it.
the way you, resources are allocated to different schools based on student population? Could you develop a plan with the supplements in a similar manner? But then,
But the other
tricky
side of
because-
this is now you're going to also to start dealing with what programs do those schools offer.
right,
Because if you're looking at ESC teachers and you're looking at an ESC department chair, you're dealing with a completely different ballgame than
Right.
your first grade department chair who's got 3 teachers. And truly that department chair in ESE trains new teachers or novice teachers as to how to do IEPs, and even though they're supposed to be stepping in and being able to do it.
they need to have-
There's just, and I feel like saying, why didn't we have a workshop on this?
and that doesn't even address the athletics.
And it's because, and I understand where you're coming from. I understand saying we need to start looking at where we can pare down, but I don't want to do it on the teachers' backs that are truly doing this sort of activity.
Well, teachers
That's-
are also coaches. And that's one of the
Correct.
things that you say, we can all sit around and say athletics aren't important. Well, A, they are. They keep
Yeah.
kids in
Oh,
school.
gosh, yes.
And B, the teachers are who are the coaches. And they put in way more time, way more hours than
Absolutely.
the others. And I know in some schools that I've talked to, they're having trouble even getting people to coach.
That's accurate.
Yeah.
Well, and-
Like, for instance, robotics. We have one school in the county that doesn't have a robotics team because nobody would do it.
Mhm.
And-
Same thing with science fair. I don't know if all our schools are participating any longer in the elementary
They
level,
will
but for a
18,
while
19.
they're.
They will.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
they should.
Yeah.
They go 18, 19. But I mean, I honestly believe that we are really healthy. I have time, so if there's something you want me to go get to in the next couple of days, I'll get to it. We won't get to the
Let me-
bargaining side of it, I don't
Yeah.
believe.
Because you said that in bargaining, we talk
Correct.
about,
The amount
The
of the
amount.
actual money that's
The
paid.
dollar.
so we can't get into that right now. The number of supplements we could, but Mr. Connell can tell you this. For many, many, many years, this board member has said, this is a runaway train, and it keeps on going down the track. I think that, they certainly deserve a supplement, but we need to have some serious talks about the number of them and the amount of them. Did you say that you had looked at other counties and that ours are a lot higher? And, I would like,
They're very generous, but
I would like to get more information about that so that we would have it, when we do get to bargaining. But something needs to be done when you've got almost $3 million tied up with other needs that the district has, and we can see the crunch ahead of us. But I want to be fair to the employees. Certainly they work hard, but we have to stop this train or slow it down somehow.
And through the chair,
And I don't know when the proper time would be to
Yes, ma'am.
do this.
Through the chair, I'm sorry. I asked Mr. Broski a question. Mr. Broski, it has to go to the board now for approval to move forward by
Correct.
contract. The question is,
Contractually.
if we approve this, and I know Mrs. Lee's not, Ms. Piva's not here today, if we approve this, is there an opportunity when we start negotiating to come back and adjust the amounts
No.
I don't think so.
as we
What
as we
the-
get to
The amounts, but not the.
the amounts? I'm talking about the amounts of each supplement. If we get to the bargaining team and could,
You're talking about dollar amounts, right?
yes, ma'am.
The dollar amounts. If the bargaining team was able to come to resolution and
I
resolve
got
their
you.
contract
I got
in
you.
that amount of time, which is probably not likely before July 1st,
But that,
then
would that go into effect as of this school year?
the next school
For
year.
the next school
Yep.
year though?
Yep.
Even though we've approved this?
That's what I'm
Well,
asking.
you
It
would-
kind of seems
So
like
what
we
you-
would be
it-
held to what we've approved.
Well, that.
It would be
We would be approving the
renegotiated
supplements.
in the
but
contract.
His
Okay.
So
question
then would
was,
that
could
come
we
back to
play
the
with
board
the
for
amount?
back to
approval
the
a
board.
second time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's what I was asking. Okay.
I wish we had time to do a real in-depth workshop on this, but then again, the amounts are in bargaining, you see.
Yeah.
But is there any board member willing to stand up and try to cut supplements quickly? The number of supplements, or do
I
you want
wouldn't
to
know
just let
the
it go?
equitable way to do it. I mean,
It's-
looking
it's-
at it, I don't know what would be the fair way to make any
That's why we
changes,
need to really have
without
some
targeting
people.
one group.
That's what I
Because
tried to do earlier.
we know how hard our teachers work and our
and-
coaches. So
And
we're
I heard,
not
I did
belittling any
on
of it.
last month, when this was on and then withdrawn, I heard from a number of teachers that said, look, I don't take the insurance. So what y'all did last month didn't help me, but I do get a supplement for
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is,
Fair.
people count on this in their salary. So we're playing with their livelihood here.
We are playing with our livelihood, and it's a situation though,
It's hard.
that you brought up that said, can we look at the number of students at each school?
Mhm.
And are there any, and what's the word I'm looking for? Are there any
The
guidelines, for want of
Yeah.
a better word, that we could use to, and I'm not talking about athletic. I'm looking at the supplements that you proposed this last month, Mr. Davis, and you cut out, basically you went to the elementary schools and you went, no. But with the high schools, we're going to do this, and the junior highs. And I'm looking at this going, okay, so you're going to cut out department heads. It's one of those, we don't want to do all. We don't want to do nothing. What's the midpoint? What can
So-
we do
So the issue
that
becomes,
still supports these people that
Yeah.
are doing the work? Yeah.
and through the chair, the issue becomes when I brought the department head, it impacted elementary, junior high school, and high school across the board,
Right.
everyone. And I was trying to find a fair way and look at surrounding counties and throughout the state and throughout the nation who offer it and who do not offer it. And we say, some people are, back-to-back years are identified as department heads, but this could change annually. So you're not guaranteed a department head because you have the supplement this year. It could change based on needs. It could change based on an individual not wanting to do, aspiring to do it. It can change on someone moving from school to school, retiring. So when we talk about, this supplement being continuous, it's not continuous. It has potential of not being continuous for an individual. When you look at it, there's nothing else. It's kind of, you have department heads for elementary, which is math, all the core, that's for math, science, social studies, and ELA. Then you have ESE supports. Then you have I think a PE supports and a performing arts support. So you have those individuals that are leading the work. You've got it and not one's more important than the other, I would say, because you need someone leading the work and being side by side. That's why I went holistically. I think that individuals who aspire and want to lead and do more, which are internal leaders and future leaders of the organization, go and do that work. Is it nice to be compensated? The answer is yes. In a perfect world, I like to go into the negotiations part of it and really work to negotiate a reduction, because I think we're really healthy on it, which is a decision that was made in the past, which is fine. But I think that is the better way to go, is to look at the financial side versus cutting them entirely.
Actual support, yes.
Because it's never, because the equity, it's hard.
Ms. Gill has
These are all
another
the
question.
Sorry, Ms. Gill.
No, that's okay. I was just curious. I know we're held to a timeline because of contract, but did you ask about an MOU to maybe
We could.
postpone this so that we
We
can
could,
have a
Mr.
workshop?
Brasi could.
We did inquire about an MOU, and leadership's decision is to wait until the bargaining process occurs.
Like district leadership or?
Well, we do have Tracy.
Leadership of
Everyone is-
CCA.
No, not Tracy, Betsy, Benny Tracy.
Do what?
Sorry, Betsy. That's okay.
I can engage
I'm sure we
today.
could.
I can re-engage today and see if there's another way that we can press pause, and then try to figure out if we can bring back some negotiating team to look at it.
It just sounds to me like the board has a lot of questions, and you don't seem real certain of the package that you brought us. So
Yeah.
to me, that's a big red flag, and
Right.
I think it deserves time.
I agree. And it's difficult. I keep. I'm just saying that I don't want to keep bringing a package and solutions and it continue to not pass. So that's why I'm seeking today intentionally to seek direction.
So, Ms. Condon, Ms. Bola, Ms. Garricus, Ms. Gilhazan, do y'all want to just let this be just like it is? And
I'd like a workshop, personally.
What do you want from the workshop?
A healthy discussion about potential solutions to the issues.
But that's bargaining outside of.
Yeah, we
Not
can't.
if we're talking about allocation, or not allocations, but
the number of
the
them,
number
not
of
the
the supplements.
amounts.
I'm not
We're not talking
amounts.
dollar amounts.
I'm not in favor of.
But having a workshop on the number of allocations would be agreeing to remove them. I actually like Mr. Davis's idea better of keeping all of the allocations that we have and possibly just reducing the amount of each across the board.
Which we can't talk about because
Which
that's
is a
bargaining.
bargaining thing, so.
Correct.
Okay, well, if that's what the board wants to do.
Can I ask Betsy a question?
Yes.
Would the CCA consider doing an MOU to postpone this, to actually work with us on this, do you think?
I would have to consult with Ms. Paiva on that. I'm not
Well,
sure where.
Didn't
where she
Mr.
would go on
Brodsky
that.
just say that they had brought up the idea of an MOU with Ms. Paiva?
I don't think that was the topic that they proposed. It was.
So,
I'd like to ask the superintendent to reach out again.
I will.
And
Won't be today,
for now,
but-
just leave this on as is and
Yes,
reach out
ma'am.
and see if you can, and if there's a possibility of working with the amounts and
Right.
talking about it,
Right.
then maybe, we could postpone it or
Yes, ma'am.
something.
So through the chair, I'll reach out personally. I will wait until tomorrow. I respect.
Today, yeah.
And
Yeah.
and then I'll circle back in my follow up to let everyone know where we are. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Is everybody okay with that? Okay.
okay, so we're just kind of in limbo right now. we'll just kind of wait and see.
It is a runaway train though, Mrs. Stoddard. You're right.
It is a runaway train. It's very disheartening, but, you know, some of it has gone up because we've added schools.
You're fired.
But it also tends to go up. But I would like to know, Ms. Bola, you said you had looked at other counties. If you have information that you could share with the board, I think that would help us to see kind of what other counties are doing, or maybe we could
I have that information.
do what?
I have
Which counties do you have?
I have the
You and I
information. I
might
can
have
send.
different
Oh, you have the
counties.
information?
No, I'm saying I have. We've done some research as well,
Well,
but we'll
could
take
you-
whatever you have.
Oh, yeah.
I think this would help the board to be able to see kind of how this is treated in other
Mhm.
counties. Not that we want to copycat, but there may be
No,
some,
it's
they may
guide.
have some ideas that we hadn't thought about.
Right.
So I'm open to
It's a
looking.
guide. It's a-
Forever
But you
Well-
can share that with us?
Yes, ma'am.
What? Go.
He's not behaving.
Don't encourage
Excuse
them.
this table. Excuse this table,
All right,
right?
let's move along.
Yes, ma'am.
Very nice.
Ms. Chair.
12.
Sorry. C5. Reappointments of instructional support-based personnel for 18-19.
So through the chair, so this would be the reappointment of instructional and support employees that already have an allocated position, which would be all of the school folks. But also keep in mind that they would not be on there if they had a hold on their reappointment. For example, they haven't done their recertification. Their evaluation is not in. There's a variety of reasons why a person would not be reappointed. They would make the next board agenda. So you realize it's like a 3-month phase-in of people getting reappointed. Okay, so direction from the board would be, I can just load what we have Thursday. You realize people recertify like every day.
Every day.
You know, so if they make the cutoff on Thursday, they make the cutoff, otherwise they gotta wait till
Right.
next month.
And through,
So you might get calls about my name's not on the
Right.
list,
and through
et
the,
cetera.
and through the
Are you
chair.
gonna reload this on the day of the board meeting? The final,
48.
I can,
Not the day of
I
the
can,
Not
board
the
you
day of the
can't
board
do
meeting.
it 48 hours before.
Yeah.
right, do you want me to wait till 48 hours before to load it so that it's the
Get
most
as many on
accurate?
there as you can.
version?
Yes.
Yeah.
So through the chair, we can, I
That'll
mean,
stay within policy.
the reason the backup's not there now is because it's, like I said, it's evolving. We can put it up there now and every day add,
Well, why don't you
add.
go to the 48 hours before the meeting, and then
Yes, ma'am.
we'll.
Okay.
And then anyone doesn't meet
Possibly
the
could
48
have.
hours, then we'll transition to the next
Right.
month with the other individuals who are
Okay.
seeking certification.
Because we want them on there if we can
Right.
get them on there legally.
So the district level folks that are support and instructional would not be on the reappointment because they don't have an allocation yet. So the allocations would go this month, their reappointment would occur the next month. So it'll be like a 3-month phase-in of reappointment.
So how many employees are we waiting on this one, reappointment?
It would be all of the instructional and support people that work at the district level.
No, I mean,
That haven't met
that
certification.
haven't met certification for the one you're bringing to us next week.
Usually probably 300 or so. You know, people haven't met their obligation at this point.
And after putting time, money, and energy with training all year, we want to, help them, push them, and support staff in order to get certified so we can just roll over with continued services. All right. C6 is CTE, student overnight out-of-state travel, which is inclusive of Orange Park, Oakley, Bridgeview, and Oakley Junior. Doing good work in that division. C7 is approval of out-of-county travel for student travel for K-12 academics. One of the ones we had to chase here was February was Clay High, just because it was cheered because they were qualified for a competition to go nationals, and I think you did very well in February. Everybody else is in front of it. C8 is update to Bright Minds Youth Development. We are removing SBJ. After speaking with the principal and meeting to the school, we're removing that school. We will be adding Flumenine Elementary School and Orange Park Junior High School.
What exactly do they do?
So it's a program that provides daily enrichment services and academic services to students from the age of 5 to 16, and they offer summer learning opportunities. It's like I said, it's structured for not only academics. They have a period where they focus on core content, which we're going to own this year, In past, bless you, in past they have owned the academic side, and after walking last summer, I do believe that we can help them mature instructionally.
That's
And-
why I'm asking.
Yes, ma'am. So
Is
that-
this only during the summer program, or is
Yes,
this
ma'am.
Yeah,
after
it's
school
just a
stuff?
summer
Only
program.
summer, yes, ma'am.
But- And then they paid, what, $500 to use the
yes, ma'am. They
school?
pay to use the facility.
And,
They're covering their own supplies, equipment, all of that.
so
I made
their
that clear.
supplies are being,
Yes, ma'am.
they're gonna provide their own supplies.
We made that very clear this year.
Yeah,
So
this is the one that we had problems with
Right.
using
Yeah, I-
teachers'
Yeah.
equipment and
Yeah.
leaving the room in a mess. and-
so
I,
I'm not
well, I
feeling
think
this
I had spoken to
Yes,
you
ma'am.
about some concerns, but you've checked it.
yes, ma'am. So I made it a priority for me to walk last summer for these sites, and there's always room for continuous improvement. I do believe the mentality of it to allow kids who can't afford, parents who can't afford summer care for them to go at a very low cost, and summer hardships and scholarships are free. So I think it's a beautiful mentality. I just think we can help them get stronger and better, and that's why we're going to own the instructional process this year, and then help them with the extracurricular enrichment activities as well.
You said we're gonna own,
That means we're going to help them identify what they use for curriculum, what the area of
and
focus
who
on.
is delivering this?
They get an opportunity to hire teachers. Teachers have affordability to apply and be hired, or individuals who apply through their department development.
Mr. Davis, is there a psychosocial portion to their program that you're aware of?
I do not know.
The only thing I know
I do
of
not.
is character development. And
Yeah.
I visited 2 or 3 years ago in the summer, and it was about around character.
Yeah, and it's easy. I can look at what character education program they implement, and that's the social emotional learning part that they'll
I'm just
have.
thinking, there's such a community-wide concern about mental health that if they're implementing something in the summertime,
Right.
I think we need to make sure it's cohesive with what we're
Yeah.
doing in the district. But I think also points where we can identify kids that need extra help.
Right.
Just to make sure that there's
Yeah.
a good flow of information, I guess.
So we are working with them to identify kids that may need assistance in order to reduce summer learning loss. And and we will focus on literacy and mathematics will be the two anchors that we would like them to continue to focus on to help that. So we have internal data that we can use and share.
Okay.
All right, C9 is the summer school program manual and calendar for summer school 2018. This is where we'll offer a number of array of services for pre-K children, for third grade summer retention, 6th grade through junior high school recovery, high school recovery, Algebra 1 recovery, boot camps, along with ESE extended school years as well, and also an opportunity for ESOL students to attend. Once approved, we'll send information and letters out to the students who our targeted audience will be, and we'll start sending information out on our website along with constituents to let them know what our offerings will be this year. C10 is the Safety Education Articulation Agreement between our district along with with Clay County Sheriff's Office. I know it's coming late in the year, but we were trying to find out, work collectively to find a common ground of funding. This did go up from last year, $80,000. As I said last night, the cost and total cost to service all of our schools is $1.2 million, and we usually pay $450 out of Safe Schools, and this year it increased to $530,000.
So, I mean, I understand sometimes things have to come this way, but what if we didn't approve it? I mean, we've paid almost all or half the money.
Right.
It's not,
Yeah.
it just seems like it's,
It's been months. I'm telling you, months of working on this, and it's not. I mean,
We are currently on a month-to-month agreement with them so that we can continue with their services. We've been trying to get this contract in place for, like Mr. Davis says, for several months now. So we have been paying it at the old price pretty much, so just so that we can continue their services. But for auditing purposes, I am trying to get an official contract in place.
it just seems like it takes away the authority of this board because we don't have really a decision to make. It's already made, according to this. And that's not what we were elected to do.
trust me, I wish this, we've hammered, we work collectively. I mean, it's been meeting after meeting after meeting with staff trying to get this done.
I don't, as I understand it, we spent this 500
Save schools money anyways.
toward resource officers, and
Mhm.
the sheriff's office spent 600.
That's correct.
And I remember over the years through past sheriffs, you know, we used to have a lot more resource officers in our schools. How far down did we go?
I think my understanding junior high.
And we did the
I think
DARE
we
Did you have any
program.
in elementary? I
We
try
had
to
we
remember.
had them covering several, like
Yeah.
one would cover an area for elementary.
For elementary,
Mhm.
but because every year they would come to us with an increased cost, and we, you know, kept putting more and more, and this has been going on for ages, and it's gone up to the point, but, you know, how can we, I mean, I know you said we need to approve this, but how can we do it when things right now are so up in the air? I mean, you never got an opportunity to talk to the sheriff over the weekend, did you?
I have not, but this is for this year.
This is just this
This
year.
is to cover the
17,
remainder of this year, school year.
this year.
This is pass-through money anyways to Safe Schools.
So at what point would we be asked to approve the one for?
Oh, we're gonna start working on it. I mean, I've reached out and had conversations. Hopefully we'll be able to see face to face tonight. I've talked to many, the undersheriff as well as in-chief Stivers, so we've had conversation about it. We're just gonna get all the players at the table in order to project it.
Mr. Davis, I heard an interesting idea on that subject, where you have satellite sheriff's offices at your schools, some of your schools, to help alleviate some of the cost to the district. Now, I don't know what that looks like in practicality.
Right.
That would obviously need a sheriff's office.
Isn't that what we have in
Well,
Orange Park High School?
I think
They
we
have
do
it
that.
at the West
But
County.
if you could expand that.
Yeah, I'm open to that strategy, and
For example, if you did it at our junior high schools, then that would cover the cost of
Right.
having officers there.
I don't know how many satellite stations they would want.
Yeah.
Right.
The ones
So
that are
see-
smart.
just gotta figure out their appetite for that process.
Yeah. But it's worth exploring.
It's a good idea.
There's a lot of,
Outside
what
the
you were
box.
saying, there needs to be a lot of communication and
Right.
conversation about this whole subject.
And I really think it needs to include the board.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
much is brought to us
Absolutely.
and just kind of served up to us, and here you go, and you have to approve it. And I don't see other governing bodies that operate that way throughout the state. And I think, you know, I know the BCC has talked about having some workshops on mental health in the area and some things like that. And it just, I don't know, it just seems to me we're gonna be asked to, approve how to spend a whole lot of money that's separate from FEFP this year, regarding mental health and around school safety. You know, we're being asked our opinions or to vote on certain other things that I don't frankly, and they're later on the agenda, but I don't frankly feel like I have enough information on. We haven't had, you know, the sheriff doesn't come and talk to our board. He goes and talks to the BCC. I understand he reports through the BCC
Well, they fund it.
for funding, but, you know, it just, I don't know. I feel like our board gets skipped, and then we're just asked approve.
Right.
And
So-
we're not part of the process of, you know, being able to even ask questions of how this, you know, why this, I mean, this is,
Probably
Well-
would be good to have some communication
Yeah.
with the sheriff from this board, from the
Mhm.
board.
And
You know,
through the
maybe you
chair.
could Set something.
Yeah, I would allow me to have the first wave of it, and I think under my leadership, I've been totally inclusive of this board with every decision that we've made. I've given you sufficient information to make sound decisions and informed decisions. So once we get to part where we can have a calendar date where I can get with him, we'll be able to know more, and I'll have more insight in order to loop this board in so we can make informed decisions to do so.
I think we can own some of that. I mean, going forward with the new initiatives for safety, we can set workshops and we can invite the sheriff to attend.
definitely. But we're being asked later on this agenda to make a proclamation or a decision on, and we don't even know, does our sheriff plan to have guardians? And I know this is outside of this particular item, but we've had no communication. And I know it's all new, and I know we just got, you know, I've read the entire bill. I don't know how many of you have had that opportunity. It's lengthy.
And it's so interesting.
And I had the opportunity last week to go to a workshop with FSBA on the legislative update. I don't know how many of you have had that opportunity. I know nobody else drove to Lake City, but I don't know if you've gone on done any of the online ones or whatever. But but you know, I think that there's a whole lot that's going to be asked of us that's different than in past years, and so I think the opportunity to ask those questions, to the chair's point, is very valuable.
Well, I think right now what we're waiting on is for the superintendent
We'll get it-
to
I'll get
have
it
that
done.
first talk. Then we go from there.
We'll get it done in this week. We'll get it
Okay.
done. Even if I have to see him at the gym later. If he's watching, you've been missing the last couple of days. So. All right, C11 is a non-sufficient fund write-off permission. We have at McCray Elementary School, we are asking to write off a school shirt for $12.
I think we can say that.
That's it.
I have to compliment if that's what it is.
Gotta bring it.
I mean,
Wow.
there's other years where it's been
Lists, yes.
thousands
And
and
some of them I
thousands,
would
so
think.
good job.
This is an equal
Staying on
job.
top of it.
Ronnie's been
That's
doing a
great.
great job.
We've never seen one
That's
that
good.
small before.
That's good.
We haven't, collection, and the schools,
Okay.
of
Tell her
course.
thank you.
Collecting their dollars,
Yeah.
they need it.
You're doing a good job.
Well, it helps when we're not doing chunks as much anymore.
That's true too.
Yeah. Isn't it the truth?
C12 is the school board summer payment schedule calendar. It's pretty much identical to last year's. Just changed the dates to coincide with what our offerings are. C13 is proposed allocation changes for 18-19.
Okay, back up. I have the documents.
Go ahead.
Let's see. I'm sorry.
Working the night to have
I'm
this, the
looking
backup
at you.
is.
Ashley, would you take this and split?
This is 1819.
This is 18-19.
Thank you. There should be an extra copy for us. Is there an extra copy?
Uh-oh. Here you go. Here you go. Thank you, ma'am. This will be inclusive of everyone that works at the district staff. This is administration, this is instructional support staff, and support staff assistants as well.
So this isn't the changes though. This is just the allocation package for
Yeah.
the district. So where is the allocation, the proposed allocation changes for next year? There's no backup for that.
Maybe the title's wrong.
Something
Maybe it's just the
different.
allocation, the changes should be out.
So this is just allocations for the
Yes, ma'am.
2018-19 school year, so the title's wrong? And
Big
there's-
changes.
There's no changes you're bringing for next year?
Nothing
it
sufficient.
should be.
I mean,
Oh,
there's
just
just,
the support,
right.
there's the
Okay.
support service thing that we talked about before. On the
Yes, ma'am.
idea. Those will be changes.
What
What's
is
that?
Well, it
Those
has to
will
be
be
at the
just
next
removed.
meeting. But
Yeah,
for
word
proposed
changes
allocation
should be
changes, it has to be a separate document, not, this is the
Allocation.
the allocation packet.
Just take changes off and put allocation, just retitle it. These are the allocations for 18-19.
But the job descriptions that we
They were-
discussed earlier will be on next month.
That's correct. So those current positions are embedded in here as they are now. And you'll see there'll be a 2-year comparison of current status versus the model. And there's changes, a lot of cleanup, funding cleanup throughout this document as well.
So we can call it.
Yes, ma'am, you can call me with anything that you have. You will see an increase in Title I. As you know, Title I schools have the freedom to spend their dollars as needed based on 7069. And you'll see an increase of teaching positions, and you also see an increase of assistants, would be pretty much interventionists that will be added to the schools. So pretty much 10 interventionists to work with kids in small groups, and you'll see additional 6.7 increase in teachers. Other than that, I think we're kind of neutral all the way across.
Yes.
Our decreased.
Can I
fix
quick
it.
question?
Yes, ma'am.
The Department of STEM, it looks like you deleted all the positions?
Yeah, so that's soft money, that's DODEA grants, it's going away. So we just embedded, absorbed all of those initiatives and work within our current structure and staff that we have now. So we didn't have to have costs. We did apply for DODEA coming up. It's another $1.5 million that we're gonna apply for. So we're gonna put a strong grant right, together in order to seek those funds again in the future. If not, we would have to pay for those positions, a lot of positions, but we've inherited it.
So if we don't
So-
get that grant, what happens?
Funding goes away for everything that we support in that arena with, with a lot of stuff that is connected to people. This is why we're transitioning out, and with, it does a lot for robotics. So that month, we gotta either find a way internally how we will go and continue those works. But right now, there's no guarantee.
Have we lost a lot of grants? I know that some of them were time, and-
This is just the one that I think has been major for us. But I think there's a good chance if we, give it the attention, and since we've been a part of this grant as well, that we can continue to be offered and extended the opportunity to have it again.
And then one other question, the
Yes,
reading
ma'am.
coaches, there's 6 that you're deleting, what's the plan, or are you just gonna reabsorb their?
So those are just cleanup and funding. So, some of those are connected to, supporting teachers in the classroom. So we're just trying to find money to cover all the needs in this organization with the raises that we're given. They will go back to the classroom and teach. There's only a handful of those. Some of those are vacant positions as well.
What about the sprint specialists?
Yeah, they're on here as well. So we pay half of the sprint, the 2 sprint positions, we pay half. So we'll absorb that work through our current specialists and coaching staffs that we have now, not only in Ms. Muller's position in professional development, but also with the work that Mr. Connor and Mrs. Dr. Stallman do as well. So they'll take on those roles and responsibilities. So the sprint's all about supporting new teachers, and all the specialists and coaches that we have internally are already doing that work. So, the main thing we'll have to talk about is openly is paperwork side of it, and so we will look to determine whether or not where that paperwork side will go to. But
Does our contract with UNF then,
we're going to have a conversation with UNF.
and any of the other schools?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It-
Because one of the benefits, I think, of that sprint specialist position was the recruitment of teachers. Because if we had those teachers,
Right.
I'm assuming we'll still be able to.
Oh yeah, they love our partnership here. They
And
really
that
do.
will continue.
Right.
Okay. So,
Yes, ma'am. We won't let it go away.
and the reading intervention coaches, as Ms. Gilhausen said, some of those positions are currently empty.
That's Dr. Stallman's department.
That's correct.
Okay.
We have some vacancies.
And they will be absorbed as teachers.
They will. They're teaching positions.
Before we go any further with this, have these folks been talked to about this?
They've had conversations yesterday.
Okay, so this won't hit.
Well, then actually, they're
No, the people
vacant.
have not had, I have not spoken with anybody on my staff
Oh.
until the board approves it.
Okay.
Well, this is one of the concerns that I have.
4 of those are vacancies. So there's
Oh, let's talk about the other 2 then.
yeah.
The 2 people that
Installments.
this may have something to do with, no one's been talked to at this point.
I
Installments.
And it's my
was waiting
understanding that
until
as soon
board
as this is
decision,
issued,
and then
this
I would
is-
talk directly with individuals.
But we don't approve this until next week.
But when this is posted today,
It will be
back
posted.
up,
We'll have
today.
conversation
see it
with those
and
2
say-
staff members.
That's
My
what
job's been
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
concern.
And they're already a teaching position anyways. It's not, their job's not being deleted. They're just transitioning from the district level with their teaching certificate to a classroom.
Which is big.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still,
So we'll have a
But
conversation.
they need to know that before they see it online or get a phone call from someone saying, your job's been deleted, because that happens,
that
we hear it
happens
every year.
every year. Yeah.
And we start getting the phone.
Yes, so just,
We'll have
Well,
a
it's not,
Let's
it's
be
not,
courteous
phone
to
calls
them.
don't bother me, it's the fact that no one is speaking to
Right.
them ahead of time.
Right. We'll have a conversation.
So if
I'll
there's a
take care of that
chance
today.
That we could discuss it, that it's a possibility, and dependent on the board's approval.
Right.
But at least they have a heads up before it hits the waves. Mhm.
well, they might already have hit the waves. You know, if anybody's watching,
You can't watch this live.
you can't.
Mhm.
Yep. C14 is allocation changes for 16, 17, or 17, 18. Go back. 17, 18. What I'm asking for is, in this, which is federal funding through our food and nutrition services, is to add 2 cafeteria managers for the food truck. Food truck is should arrive sometime in April. We're hoping to get our hands on it, and we want someone to be able to do the we need 2 people to man it. So openly and honestly, so that's to initiate and kick this process off.
Are you going to be driving it?
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. I got
Well,
a
if
special
you're certified, then we can put you
But
on
I'm buzzed.
Yeah.
I could do it.
You've already got your
You can fill in.
I know, right?
What will this food
It's a
truck
truck
be doing?
outside.
This food truck, the first stages of it is to get it off the ground and for us to go to certain events throughout the school district and just to continue to market what we're doing, but at the same time, to be working collectively with our CTE pathways and academies, where our culinary programs will be able to come and our students will be able to come and they will be designated for a week to use it. And we'll have these 2 individuals who, if we approve to go along with them, while the students are preparing their menus, preparing food, servicing kids, and really understand how to interact with the business. So it's not only culinary, but it's hospitality, business. So many things can happen to this food truck with kids.
We need to have a big
This is
district
coming out of
night.
general funds?
No, ma'am, federal funds.
Maybe
Food
we could do
services.
they could cater our school board meeting.
They can do whatever. Yeah, they can.
If we did it,
It might increase attendance.
That would be
Right, every-
If we had it, we could have it for Thursday.
I
I mean, you know.
They could have been out here today at 8:30 with breakfast.
Yeah.
Why didn't you set that up?
I don't have the truck yet. The truck is pretty cool. It's I don't know if I sent you pictures. It's awesomely wrapped. I'll send you pictures. It's really cool initiative. So, and you
When
know,
this started last year.
yes,
And
man.
when we
They had to
approved
build
It
it.
was like, this is
Yeah.
gonna be so much fun.
They're almost finished. It's taken almost 6 months to build.
Yeah,
So,
that's amazing.
and the last one on here is just cleaning up the coordinator title, making sure it's aligned with the actual job description.
So in that vein, not to be the wet blanket,
Yes, ma'am.
but I would imagine that we would check permitting to make sure that where our schools are, that they can have a food truck in that municipality.
Yes, ma'am. We will. I believe it won't be a problem.
Because I know there's certain zoning.
We do have
Rules.
to, especially if you're not on school property, if you're elsewhere in the county, we have to have permits for that.
I don't know, I just know it was a big deal, something with the hurricane and somebody in Green Cove, and
Oh,
remember
yeah.
it was in the
Remember
same
that.
day?
Yeah.
He was doing free meals.
Oh, yeah, he was doing the free meals and they ran him off.
Yeah.
I guess we need a good pass-through with the county to make sure if we're not
Yeah,
doing it,
reach out
doesn't.
to
We want to be legit.
I'll put a letter of
And this is-
their board meetings too.
Yeah, I mean this. I mean, I know for sure this truck can go
I
to
just
every.
see-
I mean, like I give you examples.
I
So this
just see
truck can
TV
go to
now.
junior
Our
high school, high
employees
schools, and be an
handcuffed
offering for
being let
kids.
off because we-
Kids can work on it. It'd be another opportunity.
Make sure it's the day he's on the truck when
I know.
he's driving it.
I can just see it now.
It's gonna be really cool.
Okay, proceed,
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Davis.
All right, C15 is monthly financial reports for November. We're getting back in action with this with Business Plus.
November and December.
C16 is the monthly financial report for December as well.
Yeah. We're still working on the
I'll catch up.
formatting, so we're still working on it, so hopefully by the time it gets to June, I'll have it more refined. But again, we're trying to bring it back up to get us caught up to, the schedule that we should have kept, so.
And the property reports are now part of this item too now, so they're not a separate item.
C17 is the deletion of certain items report. This is a 3-month report that we're catching back up. This is a property report from Business Plus. This is if you look at the in-service dates, some of this, equipment that I think goes back to the 80s. So we're just trying to delete it and get it off our report because you cannot use it. Those are good years, but
Is some of that stuff still being sold? I remember the time I saw the school bus for sale. I'm like, Robert had just set that up and I'm like, he's selling a school bus? I don't want it parked in my driveway.
I have a question that was asked of me. Does the school board, or does the school district, pardon me, still have auctions Did any-
No, we don't. We pretty much, those items that are disposed, if they're still sellable, I would say,
Correct.
we place them on, well, we sort of have an auction,
It's
but
auction.
it's off of gov.deal.
Thank you, I'll send them to that.
Yes,
That's where
Yeah,
you'll
they
see
do.
the school bus.
Gov.deal.
Yeah,
Deal.
so all,
It's like the
it
SWIP spot for
it is
schools.
kind of a still
Yeah,
auction.
basically, yes.
eBay for schools, I got
Yeah.
it, okay.
And one of the things I wanted to add is as you're looking at the report on the left side, there's some codes. D1, right now, the first page you'll see it says D5 on the left side. D5 represents normal surplus. That means those items could be not operational, therefore we either will, if it's fixable, we will try to fix it, and if schools doesn't want it, we'll just go ahead and sell it on gov.deal. So D5 is normal surplus. D1 is simply junk. D2, where it's a trade-in. What a trade-in means is that for instance, a cart, those golf carts. The principal or the school is turning it into the vendor, and they'll give them some value towards a new one. So that's what that means, trade-in, D2.
Is there a key for that on the bottom of that somewhere?
No, I will add that because this is our
We're
first
never gonna
report.
remember this,
I
yeah.
know,
That'd be
but
good.
this is the first. It's on the side, but the
Right,
the
But I need the
legend,
what they
explanation of
mean,
what it
yeah,
is.
the
the key
legend.
for what they mean,
the
right?
legend will be
That would
at
be,
the, we'll
yeah,
add
that would be
it.
good.
Thank you.
So you'll
Then
know
we'll
exactly
we're-
what it
We know
means.
what we're reading.
And of course,
yeah.
D4 is the lost items that we could not
I don't see any on that list.
But I'll put the legend at the bottom so
Okay,
that
that
you'll
would
know
be
what those
great.
codes
Great, thank
What
you.
did you say D3 was?
D3, there is no D3. Oh, if I do, I don't have it with me, I'm sorry. But I'll get the legend and make sure it's on there
Okay.
in future reports.
Alrighty.
Okay. C18 is bids to be awarded. This is for our annual bids for paint bid, for fire sprinkler systems, and along with paint throughout the school district. This fire sprinkler system is $100,000 and the paint is $150,000, and the awardees are identified below. C19 is Orange Park Elementary kitchen renovation. Definitely need for us to look at new fixtures, new equipment, energy consumption, in order for us to have a better opportunity within upgrades within this facility. C20 is also at Middleburg Elementary School. It's a renovation of the restrooms. These restrooms are definitely in need of remodeling. We've got some complaints in the last couple of months of the school, so we're going to address them and award the project. C21 is pre-qualifications for contractor, which is a monthly report to come to the board. C22 is request to remove portables off of our fish at Poe and Oakley Junior High School. This is will be around 41 portables that we remove due to no longer needing to use them at the school.
When you say remove, are they still sitting at the school?
Some may sit there, some may be totally removed, depends on if there's a need somewhere else or if we decide we do not need them and sell them.
16 at Public Junior and 25 at Poe.
So I have a question on this section of the agenda. From what I've read, like you were talking about the bill that passed and the governor's directives that went with it, seems like the requirement is we put a halt on everything that we're funding and do our school hardening. Like, is that going to be a conflict with legislation for us to continue with projects, or how does that?
We can look at pausing projects in order to move toward Harlan.
I'm not saying that's what I want.
Yeah,
I'm just
we're having conversation now to reprioritize, to figure out what we can do. We have works and, we have items in the place with fencing, definitely with security and single points of entry. Those are all working collectively with Dr. Kemp along with Mr. Harvin to identify and then move forward. So we're working right now to create a plan and start to address issues at schools.
That's not in the bill that actually
That's just
passed.
the directives from the
The
governor.
governor wanted that, and the
It's not-
legislature did not
It's not
pass that.
mandated.
So for us, we're taking our internal steps to make that happen.
Not
You
that
know-
you wouldn't want to, but
Yeah.
they're two separate, so the budget was funded separately than 7026. The money that was in 7026 does have specific categoricals that go with it, but it is separate from the budget, so
Yeah.
it's separate from our capital
Right, so,
dollars.
and we haven't received, to my knowledge, I know they were gonna try to send some money for Hardin, but we haven't seen that money yet.
No, we haven't. I haven't seen anything yet.
No.
They're waiting on federal,
Yeah,
Yeah.
the federal Congress is trying to address school hardening. Now granted, it's a tiny amount of money. If you go look at it, it's
it's what, $100 million for everybody? Yeah.
for the whole country.
Okay, yeah.
Another concept.
I mean, that's funny. That's
I mean,
typical.
literally, it might be like
$100
per school.
Hey,
Yeah,
typical.
that's it.
Well, look, you know, we're doing great, wonderful things. We got 47 cents ahead. I mean, we're gonna just
Now-
be knocking it out.
I did ask the question if they could supplant versus supplement, you know, because they
Right.
historically love to do
Right.
that from federal dollars, and they cannot because they passed 7026 prior to the Congress acting. It will be addition, but again, it'll be.
Yeah.
So, fingers crossed.
You know, you mentioned last night about listen and learn, and then today you talked about this word school hardening. But, and you were talking about it when we were at Fleming Island last night about, you know, fences for the relocatable buildings and so forth. And I'm just curious as to how we're gonna do this. Like at Orange Park High School, it's spread out all over Creation, and you've got
Right.
the sheriff's substation
Yeah.
over there. And I thought, well, what do you do for a school? Like, it's not Fleming Island that's, you know, you walk in the front door and you can block everything else. But a school like Orange Park High that is spread out,
Right.
I don't know how you,
It's difficult, I mean, that,
I don't want
Orange
to look
Park,
like a prison
right,
camp.
Orange Park's
You know?
already fenced in with all the
I was
portables.
gonna
The
say,
issue
yeah.
is that everybody needs to understand that fencing doesn't stop mental and behavior illnesses. And it's just a deterrent.
Yeah.
But,
There are just so many things that you wonder.
we're gonna make certain though that we have that as a, you know, most of our schools do have the fencing, majority, we're in a good spot.
Yeah.
But there's areas, and we spoke to it last night at Fleming Island, we've gotta do something by that
Yep.
portable area to close that off, and I believe that's happening.
That's underway.
Yeah, but I believe
Yes.
that's happening this week.
Not this week.
Oh, sorry. It's
Fortunately.
I mean,
Unfortunately.
we want our
Wilkinson
schools
Junior
as,
is-
we want our
Got
schools
to
as, we want our schools as safe as they can be. But again, you don't want to ride by a school and see, you know, an 8-foot fence with barbed wire on the top.
Yeah.
I mean, anyway.
Yes,
good luck.
ma'am.
They won't let us use barbed wire.
You asked.
You already tried.
Well, that was a good presentation last night, and I
Thank
think
you.
the community was glad to hear
Yes.
what you had, you know, what's going on in our district, because there's a lot of questions from people.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I love the way that you handled the question about what specifically are we doing? How are we teaching our kids? And you just very graciously said, I'm sorry, I'm not going to share all of the details with you. And I thought,
Well, we've got
That was
cameras
good.
here and we've got, you know,
That was
that
No,
was,
but some
It
of
was
that
done
security stuff
professionally and
needs to
nicely,
remain
yes.
confidential.
Yes, ma'am.
It's-
okay,
Very good.
let's proceed back
Thank
with
you.
the agenda.
Price C23 is guaranteeing maximum price for Fleming Island ACE testing facility.
Are we
You
still
sure?
voting on
I'm
this?
so sorry. Listen, it's
We are
like,
now on month
it's the
7.
longest,
What is going on? It's every month.
This is just the guaranteed,
This is a maximum.
this is the max they can,
Where's Dr. Kemp?
they cannot charge
He's
us
not here today.
anymore.
Where is he?
He's with his family today. He,
Just a minute, Mr. Connell.
yes, you
maybe
can.
it would've been like,
This is the last time this is coming. No, I'm just
You said that last month.
You
I
have
keep sneaking it in on
approved-
me.
Wait, let's
You have
let,
approved the project, you have approved the construction manager. This is the GMP. This is the second submission of the GMP. The first one was way over budget. We've done a significant amount of value engineering. Worked with Dr. Legutko and the superintendent. It is a school-initiated project funded through the ACE program, the funds that program generates. So right now we're still close, but we're within the allocated funds with this GMP. So we're all ready to go. The next thing you should see hopefully will be a final completion on this one.
we all look forward to that.
He said it so
Promise is
nicely,
promise.
what is
this
it,
is-
value engineering? That's exactly what they did. Good
It's
job.
like, it's like the process of building a house. It's supposed to be done in 6 months, and
Oh,
we're
yeah.
18 months
You know.
later.
When it came to me in my junior year, I'm going, Guys, is this gotta go again? Yes, sir, Mr. Davis.
Here we go.
Okay. here we
Next
go.
time,
I know.
next time we see
I'm
it,
so
it's
glad
gonna
to
be the
turn this
final
page.
completion. You got that? Final completion next time.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. C4 is a proclamation for School Nutrition Employee Week, which will be April 30th and May 4th.
Did we get mental health proclamation done? Because we missed it in March.
Do what?
At our March board meeting,
What?
we,
You
you
know
and I
what, I'll
had
get
the
with my
conversation
colleague.
that we wanted to
Good
do a
reminder, 'cause that was
proclamation
supposed
for
to
mental
be.
health.
I think
Isn't
it's
that-
May.
I
It's in
think they
May.
said May last
The
time.
social workers, you said on that thing you read from Kathy Lawrence at the last meeting, the social workers was in March. When
Is
you
it?
read, and you
'Cause I just know
read,
last night
you
there
read
was-
something she had sent you.
All right, Miss Bush.
We'll go, I'll get with the professor and see if there's something that we need to do for,
Yeah,
Mental
because
health.
we don't want to leave anyone out. But I know that I heard Mr. McCauley say last night that there's something that starts,
Yes.
That's
And
mental health
mental health
awareness,
is
but that's
April.
not school social workers.
Yeah.
Right.
well, we
Ms. Ross all
go,
over it.
we want to recognize everybody, if y'all will
Yes, ma'am.
get on it. We want to make sure we recognize the right people at the right time, for sure.
That's it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right. D1, district position for armed personnel. This is put on by Ms. Studdard.
These are probably discussions for the regular meeting, the rest of this.
Yeah, we don't get into
We don't,
discussion
yeah.
now.
So,
Gives people something to think about.
Mhm.
Okay.
So you got plenty
an
of
hour
time to
and 10
think about
minutes.
it.
Not bad. So we need to all choose from this Panera thing for Thursday?
Well, we'll do that after the agenda, Ms. Caracas.
I thought we were done. You just said you all have something to think about.
Oh, you're not reading
We're
them?
finished,
All right.
are we?
We usually read them out loud.
Let's read them. Go through
D2
them.
is employee contribution for health insurance, put on by Mrs. Caracas. D3 is certified question to Clay County Board or County Commissions requesting to provide funding to assist with additional resource officers.
Is there going to be backup for these items?
There will be backup for that one, yes.
What about for D2?
It's a discussion item. It's
Okay.
not an action item because we know that it's collective bargaining.
Okay.
So it's just a
I'm just
kind of a
remembering from
generalized
last meeting.
conversation for us to have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I want to be prepared to have a discussion, so. And what about the first one? Are we planning to take action on that
After
one?
backup has action that we can take if the board chooses. There's a statement.
There's no backup
There
on
are
that.
currently no entries available.
Did you not put
Oh,
it on?
sorry, I have one.
I turned it in.
Okay.
You did.
Oh, we
You
don't
did.
have that on.
Is it there?
I have it.
Okay.
I have it.
I will make sure.
It was
that-
turned in on
She sent it to
time.
me yesterday.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry. I
No,
thought
that's
it-
okay.
I haven't looked to see that it
Thank
was
you.
there. I just know when I give it to her, she put. All right, Ms. Bush.
All right.
We were too busy trying to get menus for Thursday. Okay.
All right.
And same for D3, there'll be backup on that one?
I'll provide backup for that.
Okay.
When do you have to have the backup in?
Yeah, I don't have backup for,
We would have to have it by Thursday
Yeah.
when the agenda post is.
Okay.
Or the 48 hours if you take longer.
I mean, none of these things have backup. Are they all going to have backup or what? I mean,
One, there is backup.
no, there's not.
Well,
I
she'll
have
get
it.
Well, yeah, yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got it, it's just hasn't.
So I
made
guess,
it.
Ms. Carragher, for your items, will you have backup for those?
For some of them.
Go ahead. I am on D4. I'll stop anytime you need me to. Rescind vote taken by on February 1st meeting to rescind vote taken on September 26th, 2017 meeting to join the lawsuit challenge for House Bill 7069 put on by Ms. Garricus. D5 is inclusion of effective retirees to adjust salaries put on by Ms. Garricus.
And that was put on because Ms. Piper brought it to our attention last month at the board meetings.
But
There's
it's already
been an
been
MOU
resolved,
on that.
hasn't it?
They have talked about it, but she had asked me to keep it on.
MOUs.
Mhm.
We've already got it in.
But it's been-
It's been taken
That's
care
what
of.
it's, and you
Yes, ma'am.
added the support staff.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
She said that, what'd you just say? Ms. Piper wanted to keep it on?
Oh, we're gonna close my item. I had told them I would put it on, and after collaboration with Ms. Piper, we decided to leave it on.
the agenda.
But it's already taken care
So
of.
we'll talk
Yeah.
about it at the board meeting, but yeah, they have resolved it.
And D6 is special action.
Okay, school board attorney remarks.
None at this time, thank you.
That's the best answer you have ever given.
That's my
School board member remarks. Anyone have anything to say, any comments? Okay, Mr. Davis, is there anything else you would like to say?
No, just if you have any questions about allocation, please reach out, and then I will send information related to the ops funding sources and costs, along with looking at, I'll look at Mrs. Gans and determine whether or not we need to increase that. I'll look at supplements. I'll call Mrs. Piva for supplements to see if we can defer and have an MOU. And then I'll do some food truck looking into. I know they'll be on our campuses because it's part of our food nutrition plan. And then we'll get with Mrs. Ross and Professor to talk about social worker proclamation.
And one more question on the
Yep.
food truck.
Okay. Food
Um,
trucks.
When we have them on the campuses, are they available to the public to come on campus and purchase?
Yeah, so at this time, we're probably not gonna do that. We're only gonna, when we're on campuses, it's gonna be only open to the students on campus during that time frame. It may be open to the public at events, because if, let's just say that Clay High School has a football game and we want the food truck there, they can sign it out and we can use it and have staff, then it'll be available.
Okay. I just know that most of our parking lots are not inside
Yeah.
fences, and so if
Yes,
the
ma'am.
truck is there,
Well,
people may ask.
not today, but maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
We don't know, we're gonna have barbed wire.
Yeah.
Okay, if you would get out your calendars, before we get to that, Mr. Davis has his listening learn tonight, I believe at Oak Leaf High
Yes, ma'am,
School.
6 o'clock.
At 6 o'clock. I'm not gonna be able to come tonight.
It's okay, I got it.
I have some
I got
friends
it.
celebrating new
You
anniversary.
don't have to hear the same thing over.
I memorized it last night.
That's right.
so-
You got it twice.
But, you know, it was interesting to go to,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that it's gonna be hard for all board members to go to all
Right.
7, but
Yeah.
I think with the 5 of us, we
Sure.
can have ample
And
representation.
through chair, please, it's 7 times, so, you know.
Yeah, he understands, he
Whenever you
doesn't even expect us to be there 7 times, so. Okay, if you would get your calendars, we need to schedule another workshop to continue our policy review. Okay, we're gonna do this if it takes all summer. We're gonna keep it up, we're gonna get it done.
Summer might be the best time to do it.
Yeah, the summer, well, we'll be just doing
Yeah,
budgeting, so
that's right.
that's good.
Yes.
All right, if y'all, Mr. Agatha, how long do you need, are you prepared anytime we're,
Anytime you're ready to go.
okay. So we're gonna finish section 1, is that what we're doing?
Anytime and every time you want.
That's not a finish.
Can we use that one, George, too?
Okay.
You missed the last one.
You missed the last one. If we set the date, see, this
One
gives
time in your
Mr.
life
Davis
you've got
ample
to say,
opportunity.
To schedule something.
Hey, if we set the date, this gives Mr. Davis ample opportunity
get
to
sick?
have a conflict. Or get sick. There you go. So,
Don't get sick, just have a conflict.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Go hug some elementary kids.
I know, right?
Okay, all right. Next, let's see, next week, each week is out. We've got board meeting and all that. How about Thursday the 12th?
I have a conflict.
I'll be out of town.
Give me
I've
a-
got FSBA stuff that day.
What
Okay.
about earlier that week?
I
Well,
can't do the 9th.
I'm having a procedure on the 10th.
Never mind.
I don't think that will work.
Never mind.
Please.
I
Now,
can do
Monday-
Wednesday, the 11th.
I'm available that day up until noon.
So do in the morning, maybe? Just do like,
Couple
9
hours.
to
Don't want to do
11.
9 to 12 on Wednesday? Is that good, 9 to 12, Wednesday the 11th?
I am available at this time.
We've got that in writing, that Mr. Davis will be available.
At this time.
At this time.
Did I say 9 to 12? That'll give us 3 hours. Now, let's try to, I think we're through the
Doing good work.
hard part,
Are
I
we
think,
saying
I'm hoping.
9 to 12 is that?
9 to 12 on the 11th, April the 11th, policy review.
Here.
here, or where did we do it? We did it in here
We did it
before.
here,
This
yeah.
is a
We
good
did
place
it
to
this
have it.
If we can get this room.
Yeah, let us know if this isn't a good, if this isn't open, Ms. Bush, please. Okay, don't forget this Thursday, Mr. Davis.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't forget, this Thursday, 8:30 to 3:30, we are having our final master
Oh, I will
board,
be there.
and we need you to be
Can't
there,
miss.
because we want your name on the plaque also.
Yes, ma'am.
And she said if we're good, we can get out early.
She said 3:30. Well, she told me when I was talking to her about the menu and the capital, everything, she said that, like most of us, we have a Monday, Thursday service and dinner at church, and she said, I have to be back to my church for the Monday, Thursday service, so if we're really, really good, she said, I'm hoping we'll get out of there by 3:15.
Wonderful.
So she is just as anxious for us to get these hours in as we are anxious to get them in. But, oh, and if you have not circled what you want on your Panera menu, and be sure and circle the side, which of the 4 sides, Karen, put a star by it. And I do encourage Mr. Davis to eat something.
Yes, ma'am.
I made the
Yes, ma'am.
invitation.
I'll give him
I'll
a-
probably have some jelly beans.
I mean, even, they've got chicken soup. I mean,
I can ask
they keep you from getting the flu again.
May meeting.
Okay. Now that, and then the student hearings on the 5th, if you will note, the student hearings on the 5th are gonna start at 3 o'clock.
Yes.
With the nature of some of them, and with there being five, we thought that we should allow time for discussion. I didn't want these to be rushed. Is there anything else that needs to come before the board?
No,
Okay,
ma'am.
then the meeting is adjourned.
Thank y'all.